Instead, he felt pressured by Jay and others to live up to the persona he had cultivated in his music. Yes, it was true that Prodigy's mother ran a ballet studio and that he used to take classes there. What was so embarrassing about that? He had a mother who raised him in the arts. He was cultured.
And Jay-Z was part of that community, the Dr. York community, you know what I mean? And he had learned all that information that York was putting out, for lack of a better term. He's chosen a side, you know what I mean? And the side that he chose is money, power, and, you know, he doesn't really care to spread any type of information that might help save somebody's soul. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Prodigy. Now, they have listed his official cause of death, and that cause of death is accidental choking. Apparently, he really did choke on an egg while he was in a hospital in Vegas.
50 Cent just cracked open one of hip-hop's darkest unsolved stories, and it's about to shake everything up. He finally broke his silence on the shocking death of Mobb Deep legend Prodigy, and get this. 50 says Prodigy didn't choke on an egg like the official reports claimed. He's calling the whole story suspect, and word on the street is that he's cooking up a documentary that could blow the lid off the whole situation. Now here's where it gets real. Prodigy wasn't just spitting bars, he was exposing the truth. Before he died, he dropped an open letter where he straight up called out Jay-Z, accusing him of being tied to the Illuminati and saying he sold out to the other side. Yeah, that's serious. Prodigy wasn't playing. He was even working on a full-blown musical that would have exposed how deep the elite really run things in hip-hop. But before any of that could drop, Prodigy passed. And just like that, the project was buried with him. Jay-Z always kept it cold, brushing off Prodigy and mocking his artistic, cultured style. But guess who always had his back? 50 Cent! He told Prodigy to ditch the gangsta rap and speak truth in his music, to go deeper, to go real.
Jay-Z ain't had to say when it was on, and he was getting dissed. Him and Nas. Mobb Deep and Biggie were the only ones from New York active in that situation. So Jay-Z is for making that quote in his lyrics. Yeah.
Now fans are buzzing. What exactly did 50 Cent say about Prodigy's death? Why is he speaking up now? And most importantly, is he about to drop secrets that some of hip-hop's biggest names, including Jay-Z?
He said, since we had knocked out so much music before even inking the deal, he wanted people to see us with the cars and know we were signing a G Unit. I didn't know what to say. 50 was giving us 2 Porsches. I just said thanks. As soon as I got up off the phone with him, I raced back to the studio to tell Havoc what 50 told me not to tell him. Just like 50, I couldn't hold it in. Hav was hype. The one-of-a-kind special order Porsches will be delivered in a week. Do you know how to drive stick shift? 50 asked. No, I said, but I would damn sure learn fast.
Definitely don't want out. Insiders are whispering that 50's been working behind the scenes on something huge. A real deal documentary that goes far beyond the surface into the shady, twisted details surrounding Prodigy's passing. If this is true, it's about to flip everything we thought we knew. And trust, if 50's stepping in to tell the truth, there's no way this stays quiet for long. And let's be clear, this ain't no clout-chasing move or some random industry stunt. 50 Cent and Prodigy had real solid respect between them.
50, that's my boy right there, man. He can't do no wrong in my eyes. Bull with G Unit, 50, you know, Banks, Yayo, all of them. Those are our brothers, you know what I mean? From Queens, like we all grew up in the same neighborhoods. We got friends in common. It's crazy how, you know, we never really grew up together, but the people that he know is the same people that I know and I grew up with. So it was just like meant to be for us to do that deal with them when it happened, you know what I mean?
Their bond ran deep, especially after 50 personally brought Mobb Deep into the G Unit family back in 2005. That wasn't just business. 50 handed both Prodigy and Havoc a Porsche on the day they signed. That's love and belief in their talent, straight up.
See that you're not cracking on none of those questions. They say, yo, look, really, we just want to know about 50 Cent. You know, we know you down with G Unit. We want something on 50. If you can help us get something with 50, we let you walk right now. I'm like, what? So, my mind, I snap it to strategic thinking. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm thinking strategic. Now I want to hear more I want to hear how far these people are willing to take this. So now I start acting like I'm willing to help them, right? I start saying things like, I put my head down like this. Can I get a cigarette? You know what I'm saying? I start doing things like that. And they start thinking like, oh yeah, he's thinking about it. You know what I mean? So now I'm getting them to talk. Now they talking. Now they like, yo, listen, maybe, does 50 use drugs? Does he buy drugs? Does he do anything illegal? Does he sell guns? So now I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So now they like, well, would you be willing maybe to, does he let you in his car? Does he let you in his house? Would you be willing maybe to drop some drugs in his car or maybe drop a gun in his car and then give us a call? I'm like, wow. I'm like, yo, these people was ill, right? So I'm like, I don't know. I'm sitting there acting like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Can I get another cigarette? You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing it like that, right? I'm being strategic, like, because I'm a smart nigga, you know what I'm saying? So they just yapping away. And I'm seeing they really want to set this dude up. They have no they can't, they want to do it because 50 don't do nothing. He's strictly business. He don't around, you know what I'm saying? And they mad at that. They want to bring this man down because he's successful, has money, and they never can get no case on him. So at the end of the little 30, 40-minute interrogation, I basically told them, yo, listen, man, you're going to charge me, you're going to hit me with time, I'll serve my time. I'm not snitch on nobody, I'm going to set people up. You know what I mean? I do my time like a man. I'm not a rat. You know what I'm saying? And once they see that, they're like, take his ass back to the cell. You know what I mean? Every hour, they would send a new group of detectives to question me. Like, they was probably in the back room like, well, let me try. I can give him a crack. No, let me try. All right, you try once. Let me try now. You know what I mean? So they all trying to take their little turns to see which one of them can get me to work with them. The last one was the ATF. You know what I mean? The ATF came, pulled me out my cell, brought me upstairs in the precinct to a conference room this time at a round table. All of them had their ATF jackets on with the yellow, writing on the iron on ATF the back. They had their badges around their neck. And I'm talking about senior officers, senior whatever you call them, agents, with gray hair. You could tell they were high up, you know what I mean? And you could tell somebody called these dudes and they came from their houses to come down to do this. So they tried, you know what I mean? They was asking me to do the same thing. You put something in the car, could you maybe get him, we could set up a buy and bus where he buys some drugs off of you, maybe. I'm just like, wow, these dudes was going hard for this. Like, they really don't like this thing, right? So ultimately, I ain't do nothing. Of course, I ain't work with them or whatever. I'm like, fuck y'all, I'll do my time.
Prodigy always kept it 100 when it came to 50. In a 2012 Vlad TV interview, he even said, 50 can do no wrong in my eyes. That's loyalty. Not for the cameras, but from the heart.
I felt Prodigy should have embraced his background more. It's what made him special and would have allowed him to create more significant art. I felt like Prodigy's arts background made him more prepared as a performer than the rest of us. He was a force in the studio, always coming up with new hooks and concepts. I even remember going to his house one day and noticing several movie scripts laying around. Man, when did you learn how to write scripts? I asked him. Oh, I read some book that showed me how to do it. He answered casually. I've been writing them ever since. That's the kind of ability he possessed. He could pick up a book, digest it, and then start churning out scripts like it was nothing. Most rappers struggle to write 12 bars, let alone a movie. They just didn't have the same artistic tradition to draw from. Instead, he felt pressured by Jay and others to live up to the persona he had cultivated in his music. Yes, it was true that Prodigy's mother ran a ballet studio and that he used to take classes there. What was so embarrassing about that? He had a mother who raised him in the arts. He was cultured.
Let's rewind to 2000. 50 got hit 9 times outside his grandma's crib in Queens. It was a wild time and barely anyone got close to him while he was healing. But guess who made it in? Prodigy. He was one of the only people 50 allowed to visit him in the hospital. That tells you everything about their trust.
An interview I did in The Source came out. I picked up a copy in the Chicago airport when we landed. The Source put me on the cover, my first magazine cover as a solo artist. In the interview, the writer, Shaheem Reed, asked about my problem with Jay-Z. referencing an online interview in which they asked if I like Jay-Z. No, he's a boy. He talk it and don't live it, I said. I elaborated for the source. Jay-Z has a quote in his song, Money Cash Hoes, where he claims, New York been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings. I'm trying to restore the feeling. But Jay was nowhere to be found when that drama popped off between Mobb Deep, Dogg Pound, Tupac, and Biggie. That was our little personal beef, not a coastal war. Jay-Z ain't had shit to say when it was on, and he was getting dissed. Him and Nas. Mobb Deep and Biggie were the only ones from New York active in that situation. So Jay-Z is a for making that quote in his lyrics. Yeah, it was on now.
And then in 2006, when Prodigy caught a case and got arrested, cops tried to flip him on 50. They wanted him to set up his own guy, but Prodigy stayed 10 toes down. He didn't fold, didn't crack, stayed loyal all the way through. Their brotherhood was real. When Prodigy passed in 2017, 50 gave a rare, emotional speech at the funeral. His first time ever speaking at a wake. Later he posted, I never spoke at a wake or funeral before, but I felt I had to say something. Rest in peace, Prodigy. God bless, that wasn't just a post. That was pain speaking. In his memoir, 50 even praised Prodigy's mind, his intelligence, his education, and how his mother raised him to embrace the arts. But here's where it gets shady. 50 also revealed that Jay-Z baited Prodigy into diving back into ignorant gangsta music, all while low-key mocking his deeper, more creative side. Once you connect that with the stuff Prodigy was saying, like that open letter and those wild Illuminati claims, it starts clicking. Jay didn't just brush him off. According to some, he was actively trying to keep Prodigy's truth buried. And the beef between them? It didn't start recently. This tension was brewing since 1998. It all started when Jay-Z dropped that track Money, Cash, Hoes, and he rapped, it's like New York's been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings. That bar, it hit hard. He was talking about that infamous scene from Snoop Dogg's New York, New York video. The one where Snoop's literally stomping through NYC, crushing buildings like he's King Kong. Now here's the twist. Back then, Snoop was beefing with Mobb Deep. So when Jay brought that moment back up, it felt like he was siding with Snoop and Loki, dissing New York. And by extension, Mobb Deep. That rubbed Prodigy the wrong way. And he wasn't the only one. A lot of folks on the East Coast felt Jay was throwing shade at the whole city during a time when East versus West tensions were already on fire. To some people, that line was just a slick bar. But for Prodigy, that line cut deep. It wasn't just rap to him. It was about pride, respect, and who was really standing up for New York when it counted. From his view, while Mobb Deep and Biggie were taking on Suge Knight and the whole death row machine, risking it all for the East, Jay was nowhere to be found. He stayed quiet, played it safe, didn't want smoke. And that made it personal for Prodigy. To him, Jay wasn't just ducking beef, he was riding the fence when it mattered most. Things started off quiet, just tension behind the scenes. But that silence didn't last. Jay finally fired shots directly with Takeover, and he didn't hold back. That track straight up called Prodigy out. But the real disrespect came at Summer Jam 2001. That's when Jay went nuclear, putting a photo of Prodigy as a kid on the big screen, wearing dance gear from a class he took. Jay tried to humiliate him in front of the entire crowd, turning an old childhood moment into a joke. From that point on, the beef wasn't just lyrical, it was deeply personal. Jay didn't just clown Prodigy with a diss track, he went all in at Summer Jam. Not only did he perform an unfinished a cappella version of Take Over to build the drama, but then he dropped a bombshell surprise. He brought Michael Jackson out on stage. Yeah, the king of pop. The crowd went crazy, and the spotlight was all on Jay. Total power move, but Jay-Z wasn't done twisting the knife. After the show, he posted even more throwback pics of a young Prodigy. One of them showed him rocking that famous Thriller-style red jacket like MJ himself. Then Jay flipped the photos into bars, weaving them into his lyrics just to keep mocking Prodigy's past. But Prodigy wasn't some soft target. He wasn't about to let Jay play him like that. Word on the street was, after that summer jam stunt, Prodigy was rolling deep and strapped, ready for anything. And apparently, Jay-Z caught wind of that real quick. Because after that whole scene, he allegedly started skipping major industry events. The MTV Awards, the Source Awards, even BET shows, just to avoid running into Prodigy. In a 2011 interview, Prodigy kept it raw. He said he was 100% ready to throw hands with Jay. And he even had a plan. After Summer Jam, he was waiting outside Diddy's old spot, Justin's Restaurant, with his whole squad. And guess who walked out? Jay-Z and Jermaine Dupri. The second Jermaine spotted Prodigy and his crew, he dipped, didn't even hesitate. But Jay stayed cool. He walked out with 2 bodyguards, kept it calm, and tried to smooth things over. He reached out his hand like, "Peace." Prodigy said he paused for a second, thought it over, and let it slide. He kept it about the music, but deep down, he knew it could have gone left real fast. And just when things looked like they might chill, they didn't. Because in 2007, Prodigy took it up a notch. He started speaking on the Illuminati. He claimed Jay-Z wasn't just playing dumb. He knew the truth about the secret powers pulling strings in the music industry. While Prodigy was locked up on a gun charge, he wasn't just doing time, he was dropping bombs from behind bars. He penned a wild open letter aimed straight at Jay-Z, and in it, he made some bold claims, basically accusing Jay of being tied to a secret society. Yup, Prodigy wasn't holding anything back. In that letter, Prodigy said he had a wake-up call back in 1996, a moment of clarity that made everything click. According to him, he realized the music industry, and even society as a whole, was part of a much deeper game. It wasn't just about hits and fame. It was about control, manipulation, and power on a level most people don't even see. Prodigy called out everything, from the government to religion, politics, the Federal Reserve, and even the IRS. He wrote that the entire system we live by is a straight-up joke, all designed to keep people blind and trapped. Then he turned the spotlight on Jay-Z and dropped a line that shocked everybody. Prodigy claimed, Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil. He said Jay was working for the other side, staying silent just to keep his place in the corporate world. According to Prodigy, Jay was hiding the truth from the black community and using his influence to promote what he called the lifestyle of the beast. But Prodigy wasn't scared. He promised to keep exposing the Illuminati, Jay-Z, and all the so-called evil forces out there, even if it cost him everything. He wrote, "I fear nothing and no one. I'm fearless because the truth has set me free from the Illuminati's mental enslavement. I have been empowered by God and the universe." And here's the kicker. A lot of people credit Prodigy as the one who really lit the fuse on all this Illuminati talk in hip-hop. He was speaking on it way before it became trendy. In fact, he dropped references as far back as 1995 on LL Cool J's I Shot Ya remix. He rapped, "Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Secret society trying to keep their eye on me." Yeah. Prodigy was way ahead of his time. "But I must stay incognito in places they can't find me. Make my moves strategically." That's what Prodigy rapped, moving like a ghost in the shadows. And in 2008, he dropped the track Illuminati, where he went even deeper. "This is not a theory. The conspiracy is real. They want to put me in a straitjacket in a padded room and tell the world there's 12 monkeys so they can be confused." Prodigy wasn't dropping punchlines. He was dropping warnings. But he didn't stop there. The Illuminati talk didn't fade. It intensified. Prodigy kept pushing those ideas, right up until his last project. His final album, Hegelian Dialectic, the Book of Revelation, dropped on January 20th, 2017, exactly 5 months before he passed. And according to people close to him, Prodigy was working on a full musical based on those same dark themes, all about secret powers and industry control. Then, Out of nowhere, the official story hits. Prodigy choked on a boiled egg in a hospital? That already sounded strange, but then things took a wild twist. His family didn't buy it either. They went straight to court, filing a lawsuit against Spring Valley Medical Center in Las Vegas. The lawsuit exposed serious medical neglect. They claimed the hospital failed to maintain a working IV and didn't monitor his oxygen levels properly, even though doctors had already ordered them to. Fans? They were never convinced. From the start, they felt like something was off. A lot of them still believed Prodigy was silenced, that he got too close to revealing truths some folks in power didn't want out. And it wasn't just fans sounding the alarm. Even Kanye brought it up. He mentioned Prodigy's death during an interview with Candace Owens. But YouTube, they yanked that video fast. People started asking what was said that needed to be hidden. And let's not forget, Prodigy was speaking wild truths on social media too. Back in 2014, he posted an article about the UN warning Britain about alleged voodoo rituals and tourists involved in dark activity. In the caption, he wrote, "I told y'all emperors they doing X rituals on kids. Dumb people need to wake the F up." He wasn't scared to call things out, even if it made people uncomfortable. Prodigy was all about exposing what he believed the world was too blind to see. Illuminati is preschool information. To me, that's like learning your ABCs. That's what Prodigy once said. And he meant it. To him, all that secret society talk was just the beginning. He believed there was something way deeper. And now, everything he tried to expose is being looked at with fresh eyes. Especially now, with rumors flying that 50 Cent might be putting together a documentary that'll dive into Prodigy's legacy, and maybe even the real story behind his death. So now it's your turn to speak on it. What do you think really happened? Was Prodigy silenced because he knew too much? Was his death really just some freak accident? Or could there be something more sinister going on? And what about those heavy accusations he made about Jay-Z and secret societies in the music industry? Could there be truth hidden in all those warnings? And yo, what about the egg story? Does that sound real to you? Or could there be some strange symbolism behind it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear everything. And if you're feeling this deep dive into hip-hop's most hidden truths, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. 'Cause trust, the next one is going to be even wilder. See you in the next one!